computer. Hello, and welcome to the Real Horror Show podcast. We're back after our little Easter break.
Yes, thank you.
And if you recall, we're watching the movie Smile this week. So if you haven't done that yet, go away.
Yes, go away because these episodes are for the most part spoilers. All of it. We just tell you what happens. So just go watch it. I liked it, so I won't say more. But
you liked it? I liked it.
Did you? I liked it too. Okay, we'll talk about it.
I figured you would either really like it or really hate it because it's very reminiscent of It Follows.
I love It Follows.
So if you're a fan of It Follows, you're probably going to like this movie as well.
Yes. Yeah, it was actually really good. All right, cool. Glad we agreed. Okay, that's it for the podcast then.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of any pertinent news. I haven't seen any new horror movies. I saw the Mario movie in theaters.
Oh, how was that?
It was a good time. If you're a fan of Mario, okay, cool. You're gonna like the movie because it's a very basic, plot. Like, gotta save not the princess, but my brother Luigi from Bowser.
I see.
But I mean, that's basically the plot of every single Mario game. So the animation was absolutely stunning. And the voice acting wasn't terrible. I know there was a lot of controversy with Chris Pratt, mainly for me, because I agree with everyone. That was a stupid fucking casting decision when Nathan Lane exists.
Oh, that would be an excellent. I can hear his voice in my head when you say his name,
It would have been perfect, but you know what? Chris Pratt did an okay job. The worst voice was actually Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong.
Oh, really?
Because he outright said, if you want me to do a voice, I'm not going to do a voice. I'm not a voice actor, which pissed off a lot of voice actors because they're like, yeah, that is a fucking problem.
Yeah, you should be able to do both, buddy.
Yeah. Jesus. And someone's car alarm is going off.
Oh, someone's car alarm? Oh, okay, I do not hear
Unless, is that the Sebring? No, that's not the Sebring.
Okay, good.
So, my week has been eventful.
Yeah.
David's car, my former car in high school, may have finally kicked the bucket.
Is it the Scion?
It's the Sebring. The Scion's my new car.
Oh,
if that thing fucking kicked the bucket, it's only a 2016. I would be pissed. It doesn't even have 100,000 miles on it yet.
Oh, dang, that's awesome.
Yeah, no, my Scion's gonna live forever.
Good.
Just like I thought the Sebring would.
Oh, fuck.
We kind of died on Saturday before we went to film the Big Jesus Extravaganza play.
Yeah.
One of the churches puts on, and it happens before. We have a system where David just hits the starter with a hammer until it turns on while I'm starting it. But he replaced the whole starter on Tuesday. It still wouldn't start. Mm-hmm. So before we go car hunting, he's going to have an actual mechanic come pick it up and give his final verdict.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
Because he doesn't need a fancy car. We use my car for all travel shit.
Yeah.
And important stuff. But he just uses his car to get to and from work. So it doesn't need to be a fancy car.
No. Do they make Sebrings anymore?
That is an excellent question, and I do not know.
I mean, I haven't heard that name in a long time, I feel like.
That's a really good question. I don't know if they're still making Sebrings. This particular line of Sebrings that we have, a 2003 Chrysler Sebring, is the dumbest design interiorly for a car, because everything is pretty much below the engine. Mm-hmm. So it's almost impossible to work on it yourself without a car jack. And the dumbest thing that anybody should be able to do, not me because I shouldn't be trusted with heavy machinery, is replace the battery in your own goddamn car. But the way this Sebring is designed, you cannot easily do that. It's not at the top like most places, in most cars. It is behind the wheel well. So you have to take the wheel off in order to get to it. So what were they thinking?
Well, they're discontinued. So they weren't thinking, and they realized that they should just stop now.
Oh. Well, that explains why everything's so difficult with this car.
You're driving a vintage car. Actually, you should probably try to sell it to a collector, and maybe.
Yeah.
But not to drive.
That might be a bit. It might actually be a rare Sebring too, because when he was getting insured as his car, the insurance company kept telling us that it doesn't exist, that the non-convertible 4-door 2003 does not exist. Whoa. But it obviously does, because we're looking at it.
Wait, a non-convertible 4-door Sebring 2003.
Yeah, because a lot of Sebrings are convertibles, but ours isn't a convertible.
Interesting.
It's a hard top. It's a real car.
It's a real car, and you can't take the top off of the car.
I mean, we probably could if we put our minds to it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I wonder if it is a rare thing.
So that's exciting. I also, had a panic attack at work, not unlike the protagonist of our movie this week.
Yes, who is just in a panic
the entire time.
The whole movie, almost.
Yeah. So Sweet. Smile 2022 is an American psychological supernatural horror film written and directed by Parker Finn in his feature directorial debut, based on his 2020 short film Laura Hasn't Slept. The film stars Sosie Bacon as a therapist named Rose Cotter, who, after witnessing the bizarre suicide of a patient, goes through increasingly disturbing and daunting experiences, leading her to believe what she's experiencing is supernatural.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you know what? I didn't know what to expect and honestly, I judged it just based on the name of the movie and the trailers, actually. And I thought it was not a very serious movie.
That's what I thought.
It's very, very serious.
It is.
So it's awesome.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because I put off seeing it until I ran out of time to go see it in October.
Yeah.
Because it looked more like the trailers and title for this movie had a very early 2000s vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of teeny bop horror that's not very good. People compared the trailers a lot to, I think, Polaroid, which had kind of a similar vibe. And it's just one of those, it exists. Is it scary? No, but it serves its purpose.
Right. Yeah.
But no, I was very impressed with how visually stylized this movie was.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like elevated horror.
It did. Yeah, it did.
I haven't scrolled down to the production notes on Wikipedia yet, but I wonder if it was given more of an artsy name, like his short film Laura Hasn't Slept, if it would have garnered more critical attention, because I think critically it did pretty well.
Yeah.
But a movie called Smile that looks like something that was released 5 years ago.
Right. And it's and the trailer just has scary smiles, and I really thought it was just about people doing a creepy smile to scare you, and I was like, okay, that's kind of silly. But yeah, maybe if it had a different title, and because I think the trailer they really missed the mark a little bit. I don't know if that was on purpose or not, but I put it off the same reason as you did.
Yeah, I don't think it was a mistake. I think they just wanted to try and sell it as well as they could, because it's a non-A24 horror film. So what's the point of even putting it out? Am I right?
That's true. A24 rules. Yeah.
But I do remember some of the guerrilla marketing they were doing for this movie was really cool. And why I was interested in trying to see it is they would just have they would pay actors to go to baseball games and shit and just stand where the camera was, smiling into the camera.
I think
blending in with
that.
The audience. Yeah. And I think that's a really fucking cool marketing technique for this movie. And had they done it before the trailer came out, I'm pretty sure, and I will die on this hill, the 2016 clown incident was originally guerrilla marketing for it. I will die on this fucking hill.
I believe you. I believe that to be true.
So had they done that before the trailer dropped, and you just saw news reports of these creepy ass people in crowds smiling into cameras, and then the trailer drops, that would have piqued my interest a lot more.
Definitely.
Because I'm never gonna not die on this hill that the clown incident was originally guerrilla marketing for it, because I think the first incident of that was clowns in North Carolina, and the movie was shot in North Carolina. So it kind of makes sense. It started happening the year before It Part 1 came out, but then shit gets out of hand because of course it does with something like this. You get a bunch of assholes just joining in on all the fun.
Yes.
So the distributor, the marketing team will never own up to it because it got too out of hand, and Donald Trump became president.
Yes. No, like we don't want to take ownership for this. Yeah, for sure. But I'm right there with you. I do believe that it wasn't just people being creepy. I think it was not it was coincidental because it was one and the same guerrilla marketing, as you say, for it. Because it hasn't happened since, guys, has it?
Yeah.
No,
it hasn't.
There's no It movie.
I dug deeper into this, and I think one of the companies affiliated with it was also affiliated with a movie called The Gallows, and The Gallows did a very big viral marketing campaign, the Charlie Challenge online. That wasn't just some random thing that started happening. That was a very deliberate marketing attempt by the producers of The Gallows, or the marketing team of The Gallows.
Okay.
Which I guess didn't work very well because nobody remembers The Gallows.
Yeah, 2015.
I remember the Charlie Challenge.
What's that?
You write yes, no, yes, something like that on a piece of paper in like a cross pattern, a grid pattern. Put a pencil in the middle, you ask it a question, and the pencil spins around and gives you a yes or no answer.
Oh, gotcha.
So,
okay.
Ghosty shit.
Very ghosty shit. And then it looks like The Gallows had 2 movies. One in
2 movies?
Yeah, there's a Gallows 2 in 2019.
When did this happen?
In 2019, of course. Act 2. Here we go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it got the same ratings as the first one, and I think you can guess that they're not that good.
Yeah. Anyway, the viral marketing Smile attempted was very good. I just think they started it too late when they should have started it like maybe a month or 2 before the real trailer dropped.
Yeah, more timely. It would have been better.
Yeah.
Cool.
But anyway, so let's just go ahead and break it down into acting.
Yes.
The film is carried by our lead actress, Sosie Bacon, or Sosie Bacon.
I don't know. I need to look up how to pronounce her name, but this is Kevin Bacon and Keira Sedgwick's daughter.
Is it?
It is, because I'm a huge Kevin Bacon fan. So
I was about to ask, is she Kevin Bacon's daughter?
That is Kevin Bacon's daughter. And
okay.
Now when you look at her, you'll kind of see it.
No, I thought she looked familiar, but I couldn't place it, and I didn't look it up. The last time I saw Sosie Bacon was like in high school when she was Miss Golden Globe or something, because that's a thing the Golden Globes does.
Wow, cool.
So she was introduced there, but never would have guessed. Little Nepo baby, but she was very good.
Yeah, you know what? And I had that thought, and I was like, you know what? I haven't seen her. I love Kevin Bacon. I think he's great. I really scrutinized, her performance, and I thought it was excellent.
Yeah,
really,
no, I think
really great.
This is definitely an instance of a Nepo baby who's actually super talented.
She's great, yeah.
Because this was not an easy role to carry.
No, not for 2 hours as well. I didn't know that was going to be a thing, Sam. I was like, oh shit. Okay, here we go.
We'll get into this more with plot, but yeah, the spiral begins like 15 minutes into the movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And keeps getting worse and worse and worse.
Yeah, it does.
But no, she was phenomenal. She carried this movie, and I'm really glad this was the first time I'd seen her, and super happy that worked out for both her and Parker Flynn, because this is his directorial debut, which is also mind-blowing because this movie is so stylized.
Yeah, it seems like that's really incredible, because I didn't realize it was a debut, and it's an excellent one.
Yeah. Like, I love the hospital scenes. They were so minimalistic and pastel, but that made it super eerie.
Yeah, like the pink hospitals. I was like, whoa, that's really eerie. So I look forward to seeing what they'll do next. That's really cool.
Yeah, I think it just goes to show that pastels can be creepy.
Yeah, especially in like a like a psycho hospital, but like a hospital like
And
that.
a mental hospital,
A
an
mental
institution,
hospital institution. Okay. So yeah, I thought that was
psych ward.
it was very creepy. Yeah, a psych ward, but the whole hospital is one, I
Mm-hmm.
guess. Or is it the floor? I don't know.
I think it's just the floor.
It's the floor.
But yeah, and I
Okay.
assume those colors are chosen ideally because they're nice, soothing colors.
Calm them down. Yeah, to calm everybody down, but it's like creepy.
Yeah.
Just white is fine. Or is it worse? I don't know.
Let's see who else. There was her fiance who sucked, not acting wise, but he just sucked as a
I
person.
know. I was like, what a it's A Train from The Boys for any Boys fans.
We need to watch The Boys. It's on our list. We'll get to it.
I've watched it, but I would love to watch it with you. Are you mean we as in you and David, or me and you?
David and I, but we could
Okay.
also
I
not really horror, but okay.
I know. Well, actually, it's got some elements that are pretty terrifying. But yeah, you and David watch it. That's A Train, and I was like looking at him, and I was like, why is he familiar? And it's because he's in The Boys. So
Yeah, there weren't a lot of actors in this movie that I recognized, which I appreciate.
dude, I recognize like 50% of the actors. Yeah.
I recognized Cal Penn, very popular comedic actor mostly. He's best known for Harold and Kumar.
Oh, I remember him because he was on a couple seasons of House and then he
Yeah.
killed himself.
Yeah. Yeah, he was on House but left House because Cal Penn is like a really cool, interesting person. He left House to work for the Obama administration.
Yeah, I remember he had to leave for whatever reason. They're just like, okay, just make him secretly depressed and have him kill himself randomly.
Yeah.
And that happened. And I was like, alrighty then. I guess he's off the show.
So he briefly retired from acting to do political pursuits, which is
sweet.
hella cool.
It is. And then the Joel, the guy who's like the cop with like the goatee, he's a horror guy. He was in Scream 4, and he was also that emo kid that was in Jennifer's Body, just without the facial hair. He's in a lot of horror movies. Yeah.
Oh, wait, is he one of the video nerds in Scream 4?
In Scream 4, I'm so sorry. Scream 5, he's the one in the beginning with the longer hair. If you haven't seen Scream 5, stop listening. He gets killed like first outside of the bar that all the kids are in front of the car. He goes to turn the car off. And it's him, but he has long hair.
Oh, okay.
But he's like, he only looks different because he has facial hair. It's so weird. But he's like he's like a supporting character in like dozens of horror movies. It's really cool. He must love it. But I haven't seen him as a lead yet, so never know. Everybody else I don't know. Yeah. Like the two other people.
But yeah, they were all pretty good. I like Cal Penn. I'm glad to see him back in action. But really the star of the show was Sosie Bacon as Rose Cotter, who suffered some trauma in childhood. Her mother committed suicide, to which we later find out she didn't help with. Like her mom, I'm not going to say did it for attention, but probably took a bunch of pills, immediately regretted it, asked Rose to call an ambulance, but she did not.
Yeah, she did not, because she was like, you are horrible, and it's better if you just like, I don't help you. And she probably didn't realize that she was going to die. She probably wanted to like teach her a lesson and make her like suffer, feel sick, but she probably didn't realize that she would OD, to which she did.
Because she is a child, she doesn't understand what's going on.
No, she shouldn't have to at that age. That's so fucked up of a situation. So that's very traumatic.
She's carrying that around with her, and she made the choice to become a psychologist.
Yeah, there you go. And an excellent one at that.
Yeah. Which leads us into our story. She works in the psychiatric.
Yeah.
Big word.
I'm having trouble too today.
Ward. Well, I didn't work today, so I haven't really spoken a lot today.
But isn't her job like, she's like a psychiatric therapist, but she's for like emergency cases only or something like that?
Yes.
Okay, so
That's the general vibe I got. Because the first patient she's meeting with, she says he's harmless. He just needs to be observed for a few days.
Is that Greg? Wait, no,
Yeah.
Carl.
Carl
Somebody?
or Greg, the one who's like, he's gonna die, she's gonna die, we're all gonna die.
Yep, it's Carl.
Yeah.
She's like, you're just having an episode.
Sweet boy.
Yeah, he's just having an episode. It's fine. He just needs to take a little rest in his room, which I'm sure it's just like his room that they usually put him in.
But it's because she has this position that she's called in to meet with Laura Weaver, a graduate student who witnessed her art therapy professor die by suicide a few days earlier. And I didn't know this until moments before recording, but Laura is the original character and played by the same actress from the short film Laura Hasn't Slept.
Ooh, cool. Okay, but real quick, two things about this instance. One, in the movie, when she leaves for the day, that's when her phone rings and she goes back in her room to pick it up, and that's Laura's case. So like the whole movie, you're like, dang, if she just had gone home, she maybe wouldn't have to be dealing with that and she'd be fine. And somebody else would be dealing with that. Two, what was I gonna say about that? Keep going. I forgot my second point I was gonna make about that. Sorry.
Yes. So Laura claims that there's some kind of entity that keeps terrifying her and that she's not crazy. She's a PhD candidate, which PhD candidates I find are the most likely to snap.
Listen, yeah, they might be really stressed and overworked. Wait, Sam, I remember my point. Why was she with her professor when he killed himself? Maybe they were having a meeting?
I could see, like, I know you're doing your PhD online, but in normal society, it's very common to meet with like your advisor or your professor to work on your dissertation. So it was probably a situation like that.
Okay, yeah, you're probably right. Okay,
or
carry on.
Maybe she stayed after to talk about something in class, or she was probably just a really good student.
Yeah, they're probably just like meeting. Okay.
And that was mistake number one.
Yes, mistake number one, being too studious. Just like do it online, guys, and you can avoid a curse.
So
anyway, go ahead.
Laura's confiding in Rose, and she suddenly has an attack. She starts screaming. Rose calls for help, but it's too late. Laura kills herself with a shard of glass by slitting her throat. And later on that day, Rose sees the patient Carl, who was at the beginning of the movie, smiling and shouting that she's going to die. She calls for nurses to restrain him, but he was asleep the whole time. He didn't say anything to her. So
now he's scared.
Cal Penn, who plays her supervisor in this movie, sends her home for her mental well-being after what she witnessed, and kind of gives her like a mental health week off.
A week, which is great. And he said paid, and I was like, dang, like why is everyone complaining about her job? It seems like pretty great. She's getting paid for time off.
I don't think this movie takes place in America, even though it seems to, because there's a New Jersey license plate. But
where do you think it takes place?
Some place where mental health is cared about.
Oh yeah.
So literally anywhere else.
In a fictional place.
Yeah. Fictional world. Fictional America, where you get mental health rest days.
For a week.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I know she killed herself in front of her, and that's really jarring, but like paid time off, like that's nice.
Didn't even need to make anything up to get the time off.
I know. He like actually ordered her to do so. So yeah, to stay home. We'll take care of it.
So the hallucinations continue for the next few days, getting worse and worse with each instance. She visits her former therapist, who's the one that suggests, maybe the suicide of your patient that you witnessed has triggered memories and post-traumatic stress regarding your own mother's overdose. And refuses to prescribe her medication, which I don't know. I agree with.
Yeah, I agree too. I was like, I don't think you need to because she was just seeking her out just to get a prescription, but she was like, no, I really think we can help. I can help you through this, but we'll see if we need meds later, but not now.
And then shit hits the fan when she goes to her nephew's birthday party and gives him the gift of her dead cat, which
Listen. No,
listen, the second I saw that cat, I knew it was gonna die.
Like, yeah, I know, me too. Once it was missing and they were trying to feed it, first of all, the name was Mustache. And like, I don't know if you think that's cute, but in my opinion, I think that's like too hard of a name to call your kitty.
I liked Mustache, but I agree that it might be.
You know what I mean? Like, what do you call him? Like, hi, Mustache. Like, you need something like cute, like baby. Like, just call every cat baby.
His legal name might be Mustache.
That's true.
Mustache Cotter or whatever.
They call him Moo Moo?
Yeah, Moo Moo.
Okay. Well, that would be fine. But anyway, so when she was at the party and giving the kid the toy, I had two thoughts. One, it was the cat, but my first thought before that was, oh, her phone call was a hallucination. He actually isn't into toy trains. He wanted something else, like another Nerf gun. So I thought he might open the train and be like, this is stupid. Something. She's like, what do you mean? You called me and told me to get it. But then I was like, oh, I bet it's the cat. So,
which was very sad.
I was actually really upset and I was like, oh, gee. And I was considering like fast forwarding it, but they did well to like not show the front of the cat, just the back, and then not for long. But then like they moved to another more crazy thing. Like she's freaking out. She sees a hallucination of the girl in the corner, and then she falls into the glass table and falls backwards into their table. And I was like, Jesus. So
this was a very stressful scene. And I think the director really nailed kind of creating that spiraling panic.
I thought the scene itself was a hallucination because it was so intense. You know what I mean? I was like, damn.
I kept waiting for it to cut to her panicking over nothing as he's holding a train.
Right. Or like her, yes, exactly. And her causing a little scene, but no. And I was like, oh shit, she really.
Which would be just as concerning.
Yes. Yeah. But it would have made the audience feel better about her. But then you're like feeling bad about her. Like, oh shit, she really did that. Now she's now they have to like tell everyone to leave.
Yeah.
The party.
And God. she tries to confide in her fiance everything that's happening to her, but her fiance is like, there's no such thing as curses or ghosts. I don't know what's happening. I'm not dealing with this right now.
What's his problem? He was like great that when they had dinner, he was all supportive of her job. But like maybe it's because he was glad that she worked all the time.
Like his reaction was so unhinged.
He
was get mad at her.
Yeah.
Like sure, she's talking about curses, but that's just a sign that she's really struggling with what happened at work, which was witnessing someone slit their throat open.
Dude, I know, right? And she and she said there was an incident, but she didn't tell him that like she got the week off for it and it was so bad. But like he like acted like terrified in the car, like she was gonna like attack him. And it's like, I know she like was swinging the knife around that one time at him, but like she's in distress and like that's your fiance, so like it's not like your boyfriend girlfriend anymore. Like you want to make it serious, but like he was just acting like such a jerk. Damn, A-Train.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how he was supposed to be played, I'm sure.
Yeah. But lucky for, well, hold on, I'm skipping ahead. So upon learning that her patient's professor was grinning at her before his death, Rose visits the widow of that man to try and get more information, but it doesn't go so well when she starts crazy talking, saying, no, I don't think your husband was crazy. I think what he went through, I'm going through, which in his widow's defense, played by Carla from Scrubs, if someone started doing that to me,
what would you say?
I would have the exact same reaction. Like
I was gonna ask you, I was like, Sam, like what if someone came to you and was like, the same thing's happening to me, like help me, like would you freak out or would you like listen? Like I
would absolutely freak out because it sounds like his suicide was very highly publicized.
Right. Yeah.
We live in a crazy world where So I've been watching Love is Blind on Netflix.
Oh,
and
what is that about? Is that about when you marry someone on the first date or something? Or
no, that's Married at First Sight.
Oh yeah.
Love is Blind is they meet in these pods. They never see each other, but they talk to each other for a few days and could end up finding the love of their life and getting engaged without ever having seen each other, and then deciding whether or not they actually want to commit to this relationship at the wedding. And the final episode's tomorrow, which I have to wait until I get off work because I'm working tomorrow. But anyway, what I'm getting at is we live in a crazy world where parasocial relationships are getting more and more intense, and the dental hygienist, where the dental place where one of the contestants works at, had to take her off the website because I'm sure they're getting a shit ton of walk-ins and a shit ton of phone calls harassing them at work because the girl's like the new villain of the show. And it's like, that's just so fucking unnecessary. She signed up to be on the show, not her coworkers, so stop like bothering them.
Wait, do you see them as the audience member watching the show, or do you also not see them?
You see them as the audience member, which I kind of wish they found a way that you didn't see them as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, what if it's a big surprise and all you know is what the other person knows? So it's interesting.
Cool. But so I would absolutely like kick them out because with how publicized that incident was, you're probably getting a lot of phone calls, a lot of crazy people showing up at your door, not to use crazy derogatorily, but you're getting people who don't understand you are a private citizen coming to your door to like
exploit your emotions and your experience. Yeah.
So if that had happened to me, I would react the same way because I don't know, the way Rose starts talking, it sounds like she's about to start proselytizing to her about Jesus or some shit.
Right. Yes. Or like a MLM. God. But so, yeah, that's true. That's true. But she was like nice enough to give her all that information, like post incident. So but yeah, she gets kicked out of that lady's house because she's like, get the fuck out of my house. And she's like,
So with that in mind, Rose goes to her ex-boyfriend Joel, who's a police officer, to start going through police records, and they find several cases that follow the same pattern. They find that he witnessed a suicide and that woman witnessed a suicide. And she notices the pattern, and she takes this information and tries to go to her sister, who's not speaking to her because of the cat incident.
Yeah, she's like, you really traumatized my son.
Yeah.
But I'm sure she did, though. That is pretty fucked up.
So she's like, no, there's something happening to me, and it's happened to other people. And she shows her the police file, and I think this is where she made a mistake. She opened with the suicide crime scene.
And she's like, oh!
Totally
disgusting.
Normal reaction as well.
I know,
You gotta ease them into that. In fact, maybe not even need the image. Just say, hey, this person saw this person saw this. It's a pattern, and now it's happening to me.
Yeah, like, and here's the documentation that proves it. Please go through it at your leisure, and then be careful. There are some explicit images because it's a police file, but like, I'm telling you,
you literally just gave her son a dead cat. Maybe don't open with the gratuitous imagery.
Right, and he took it out of the box, and he probably thought it was like a toy, like stuffed animal, but then it was dead, as like a dead animal, and I'm like, fuck. Oh, poor kid.
That doesn't happen. We get a good jump scare we think the sister's coming to the car to say something, but it's creepy hallucination
that was
thing.
Very creepy. I was like, oh shit. And Luke was with me at the time too. He like watched the latter half with me, and he was like, whoa, like, so he like reacted, so therefore it was a good scare.
Yeah. I thought this movie had pretty good jump scares.
Yeah, it did. I don't know when they were gonna be there.
Yeah, and I think it's because the director did a really great job of creating an eerie atmosphere where you think it's more of a slow burn.
Ooh,
so when the jump scares happen, they're actually like not expected.
Yeah, because you're not expecting jump scares to be happening, but they fucking do.
It's not an instance of, oh, she's gonna close the locker and the killer's gonna be there, but not really.
Behind the locker. Yeah, dude. Yeah. All right, what happens next? So, she leaves her sisters.
Yeah. And the hallucinations are still intensifying. Joel has figured out that there is a distinct pattern with these, and he does believe her because he's seen the pattern, except for one instance where the guy witnessed a suicide, but he killed somebody. And then the witness of that murder killed themselves, and then the pattern picked back up. So they go see this guy, and he explains the only way to break the pattern is to kill someone else, and you have to make sure someone witnesses it. And she's like, but I can't kill someone. And he's like, oh no, you're the one with the curse,
like get out of here. She's like, okay, sorry. Sorry, bud, you're in jail forever, but I am sorry.
So she's starting to fully lose it. Like 4 days seems to be the max anyone's able to make it through. And she has another moment where she thinks her psychiatrist has come to see her after the day after she and the fiance try and ambush her.
Oh yeah, did we talk about that yet? Whenever the fiance
we
calls
did not.
Okay.
He ambushes her with her psychiatrist.
Yeah.
And it does not go well. And the psychiatrist quotes comes to apologize. And she's saying, yeah, I'm doing better now. I don't need whatever help you're offering. And then the phone rings, and it's the psychiatrist on the phone, but who's in front of her?
Oh, that, like, I was like, oh shit. That was a really cool moment. Damn.
So she goes to the hospital with a knife, and she kills Carl while Cal Penn watches, but
Poor
then she
Carl.
realizes she's hallucinating when Cal Penn rips his face off.
Oh god, yeah, he rips the face just again. And I'm like, oh my god.
But he comes down to the car and is like, hey, I don't think you're doing very well. I think you should go home. I can call someone for you. Notices the knife. That raises his red flags even more. He's a very good boss.
He's very kind and understanding, and he's ready to listen.
Yeah.
He's great. Yeah.
So she has the bright idea, oh, this thing wants to spread. It wants to jump to the next person. So I'm going to just not let it do that. So she drives to her abandoned family home to hide out until something happens, whether she kills herself or whatever, because it's not going to pass if no one sees her do it.
Right.
And she has an interaction with the ghost of her mother, essentially. Fights it, kills it in a fire, goes to Joel and asks if she can just stay with him and sleep, because she hasn't slept for a few days.
Yeah, this whole time.
And he says, sure. But then he starts smiling and laughing, and Rose wakes up realizing she was in another hallucination.
Oh, God. Yeah,
and the demon version of her mother is still there. Joel pulls up, having tracked her phone. She panics,
runs back into the house because she's back at the house now at this point.
Yeah.
And she wakes up.
Barricades herself in so Joel can't get in, but he is able to get in. And
the big scary, like,
yeah, because the demon reveals its true form, and it's like this awful semi-human,
like
made up from previous victims.
Yeah, like a very, very scary monster.
Fairly practical on my TV.
It's a man. Kevin Kepi plays the nightmare mom.
So it was a lot of practical effects.
Absolutely. A little teeny like a teeny tiny bit of the CGI, but that's it, which is fun.
I appreciate that.
I do too. And then when it ripped its face off, it had like 7 jaws, and I was like, oh my god, that's terrifying. And then it scared Rose so much that she was like screaming, and then she like stopped screaming, and then it like opened her mouth and crawled inside, and I was like, fuck, she's infected.
So when Joel sees her, she's basically in paralysis, but then she turns around with that smile on her face.
But she had previously dumped like a gallon of like whatever lighter fluid on top of her, so she's holding that above her head, and then she like throws it away, turns around, and is smiling, and has the matchbox, and like opens it, gets the match, lights it, and he's like, oh no, but he like doesn't do anything to stop her. And I was like, no, Joel, no, go away, look away. Fucking
but
idiot
he doesn't
watches.
So the curse is able to be passed on to him, and
damn it,
the house is engulfed in flames, which, you know, maybe that won't go the way the demon wants it to.
Yeah,
because he could just as easily die in that fire.
Just stay there. But he wasn't paying attention this whole time. She was like, the person that witnessed it kills themselves, but like, and he's like, oh, okay, I'll just watch. Just poor dude. So we'll see if that's like gonna be a second one, or if that's just how it's gonna end. It will just never end. Like the curse will keep jumping, because she describes it as a curse at one point in the movie. But
yeah, I've heard that a sequel has been greenlit, but reading this on a potential sequel, Parker Finn wanted to leave first movie ambiguous with various plot lines unresolved while expressing interest in exploring those details in a potential sequel film. The filmmaker stated that while additional installments may explore the backstory of the entity, he would like to keep its mysterious nature intact. He noticed that a follow-up movie would be notably different from the first, stating that he believed there's still a lot of interesting stuff to explore in the world of Smile. I want to make sure that there's a new, exciting, fresh way into it that the audience isn't anticipating. I also want to find some new ways to scare them and unnerve them, which I agree. This movie you could very easily do a sequel to, but it would be like
it'd be like the same thing as one.
Yeah, it would be like Ring 2 versus Ring 1, where oh no, they've watched the tape again and Samara's after them.
What do we do?
So I think he probably has ideas to keep it fresh. It's just getting it all down, because I don't want to see this just acted out again.
Yeah, but he did do well. Like the whole time I thought that she might have like outsmarted it, and when she was going to the cabin, that she might like defeat it, but it's one of those movies where that like no, like there is not a happy ending. I thought that she might survive, but she doesn't, and I was like, oh shit, okay, I guess she fucking dies. Damn,
there wasn't a happy ending.
I was really like gunning for her. She was trying really hard to figure this shit out, and I'm sure that that's what everybody does, except for the one guy who killed somebody. But now he's in jail, so like that sucks too.
Finn did a very good job at creating a no-win scenario. The only way to make sure you live is to kill someone else, but you have to have a witness to pass it on to. Therefore, you end up in jail.
You're just unless
you're able to evade the police long enough that the witness kills himself.
Right, unless you are a police man or person, then you can try to evade better. I don't know. People have evaded. I'm sure there's many people in the world that have killed people and nobody ever found out, which is also the real horror show. But you know what I mean? And like after like 20, 50 years, they like, they turn themselves in, but they're about to die soon. You know what I mean? So it doesn't matter at that point. So
totally. Anyway,
I liked it.
I liked it a lot. No, I think if you're a fan of It Follows and The Ring, you'll probably enjoy this a lot.
Yeah.
Very similar vibes.
It Follows. Yeah.
Which It Follows is another horror movie that you could very easily make a sequel to.
Oh yeah.
Because the opening is so ambiguous.
Yes.
Or not opening, ending is so ambiguous.
I know. It's been a while since that came out.
Yeah, that's been a hot minute. So I don't think they're going to do a sequel, but if you want something similar, I think this fills that void very well. So let's talk about production. I noticed in the beginning, especially in the psych ward, there wasn't a lot of like ambient music. It was eerily quiet. And I think that helped with the vibes of it being a creepy environment. Something unsettling is going to happen here.
All of the like music was like real creepy. There was no like really, I didn't notice any regular music. It was just really creepy noises that were it was nice. It was scary.
Everything was used to enhance the environment wherein it wasn't just to kind of create ambient noise to hide the fact that it's quiet, right? Like when a movie is quiet and there should be something there, you notice.
Yes.
But here the quietness really helped with the scares, with the unease.
Yeah, it did.
So I'm a fan. And we touched on there being practical effects at the end of the movie with the face ripping off. I did notice when she's stabbing Carl, that was very clearly CGI.
Yes, it was, but I was like, whatever, she's stabbing him.
I can tell it's a hallucination. It's fine.
Yeah. So I was like, it's okay.
And maybe that was intentional to cue the audience in that it's a hallucination before Cal Penn rips his face off.
Right.
Something's off about the way the knife's going into this body.
Yeah, it's not natural.
It's a little too smooth.
Too smooth.
Too buttery, if you will.
Definitely.
All
right, so yeah, other production, yeah, it looks good.
And the cinematography was just beautiful in this movie.
Oh yeah, it was.
Shot setups, early on the constant close-ups of her face.
I was just about to mention,
made me a little uncomfortable, but I think it works as we get later into the movie. Those close-ups continue and we see just how broken she's becoming dealing with this.
Yeah, especially, and I want to point out one of my favorite moments when they did that, combined with the sounds they use would be like the bird singing happy birthday, that scene.
Oh, that was so good.
Yeah, they take the happy birthday song and then during a moment they the song gets distorted and the scene slows down and they're still singing, but they take the distorted sound of it's like happy birthday and they're like ee, but it's becoming a creepy sound and it's it's zooming in on her face and she's freaking out. You know what I mean? Inside.
Yeah, that's why I thought maybe the cat scene might have been a hallucination.
Yeah, right. But it was just no, she's just feeling shitty and she thinks she's going crazy.
Yeah. So the production value definitely did what it was supposed to in showing this woman's descent into insanity. And when I realized it was going to be another white woman going crazy horror movie, I was a little apprehensive, but I think Parker Finn nailed it.
Yeah. Yes, definitely. And I think it didn't
feel exploitative at all. And I think just how beautiful this movie overall was.
Yeah. And she's they created an excellent unreliable narrator with how they did set up those scenes that were actually hallucinations and they kept happening, but you didn't know when or where because they were just regular scenes, and I was like, shit, I don't know what is really happening, man.
The hallucinations were just believable enough that when you realized it was a hallucination, it was like, oh snap.
Oh shit, this isn't happening, or is it? You know what I mean? Yeah. So I was like,
of course her therapist would come over the next day after feeling bad about the ambush or get in touch with her after realizing, oh, this wasn't the right way to do it.
Yeah.
So why would I suspect that the demon is just going to knock at the door?
Especially when the scenes are going on for a while and nothing weird happens until 10 minutes in or 7 minutes in and you're just okay, this is fine. And then you're oh shit, you had me going there. I really thought everything was fine, but it's not. Shit.
Yeah. So I enjoyed this a lot. I would give it an that fucked me up.
Me too. I wasn't sure what I was going to judge it when we first started, and I was like, oh, I'm probably gonna say meh, but no, that fucked me up. That was really intense. It was really good. So go watch it. It's on Amazon, and it really is on Amazon. I didn't have to subscribe to anything additional. Screambox or some random ass shit. It's on Amazon Prime.
I've gotten really annoyed with Amazon Prime just browsing it because they are pushing the extra subscriptions you can add so hard. I can't even find what's just on Prime.
Right. And you're just come on, guys.
But yeah, this is on base Amazon Prime and I highly recommend it.
Yeah, dude, same here. I think it's an excellent film.
Yeah, I had a good time.
I'm excited to see what this guy is. He doing anything now? Is he?
I have not heard anything. Let me see if he's got a Wikipedia page. I can. Yeah. No, it does not. He does not have a Wikipedia page.
Well, because I know this is very recent, so I shouldn't even be asking because he just did it. It's done. But
The Hide Behind.
The Hide Behind.
This is a short movie he did in 2018.
Okay.
Parker Finn, where are you? Found you. Had a cool poster. The posters for his short films are so much better than what they did for Smile.
I think so too. I'm looking at it now.
It looks like he doesn't have anything upcoming, but that's fine.
That's
Smile
fine.
just came out in 2023.
It did. Just take your time, buddy.
Yeah. Like
it looks like every 2 years.
Yeah.
18, 20.
The production company did us so dirty with this poster for Smile. It's so like 2008.
That kills me too. Yeah, I'm just like in his
because the Laura hasn't slept poster is so
it's cool.
It's so cool, and then the hide behind is really cool.
Yeah, that's very cool too. Let me look at that.
So do him better with the next poster.
Yeah, guys. Yeah, the hide behind is cool because it's like a forest or something, and they're falling upside down. Yeah, that's very, very cool. Come on, guys, just look at these posters. Like, oh, I don't know what to do. How about I just take a picture of this girl that's in it for 1 minute? You know, and put her in a zipper thing as if she comes back to life from being dead. Yeah, no. Anyway, oh geez. Okay, what's next? The real horror show.
Your fiance being a dickwad about your mental health.
Oh my god, yeah. I was like, come on, man. Like,
yeah,
first
I researched what your mom had so I could be prepared for it. Dude, you, bro.
I can't believe he said that. He's like, it's hereditary, isn't it? And like, I don't want to hitch my life off like onto you. And I was like, well, then what the fuck, man? Like, yeah, like her mother had problems, but like that doesn't mean that like if she does,
she's very well aware that she might have those problems.
Yeah, she's a professional about it, so she would be the best person to know if she was experienced anything like that, especially in that's she shows that in the scene whenever she is having a session with her psychologist, her therapist. And she's like describing the way she feels really like clinically. And I was like, wow, that's really cool.
Yeah, she's very aware. She doesn't need her fiance being a dickwad.
Right. And he's really over there like, this sounds fucking crazy. You're fucking crazy. And I'm just like, dude, what is the problem? Like, what is your problem? I don't know. And then he's always working late. I don't know. I feel like he doesn't care. You know what I mean? So, because she's always texting him like lovingly, like, when will you be home? And he's like, I'm working late. Whatever. Yeah, so I don't know. He hugged her like one time. I don't know what the fuck. It's like,
and, you know, her little speech at the end to her ex-boyfriend made her relationship with her fiance make a little more sense, that she deliberately kept Joel away from like knowing too much about her. So maybe she did the same with her fiance. So they just kind of had a very shallow relationship for two people who are getting married.
Right. And you know what? Another thing that I noticed about what I think he did well at playing like a jerk is whenever she did this great too. I thought they had this interesting dynamic where they were able to make it work. But when she was like looking for the kitty and feeding it, but then she was like discussing her day and she was kind of like talking quickly, and he was standing behind her like giving her this look, and she's like, sorry, like, sorry, how are you, how was you? I was like, dude, really, like, come on. It's okay to be stressed out. You deal with like really intense people all day, and you're trying to like deal with that all day every day. And the dude said she worked like 80-hour work weeks every week, and I was like, gosh, I'm surprised you can like have the energy to go out to dinner with your sister. But anyway, fuck that guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, they probably just like needed another person. It was getting late in life. Maybe they just needed to get married and like have a house and be stable with somebody, you know.
Yep.
Because that can happen.
Then let's see, I guess your mom being abusive and suicidal.
But a junkie too, which is awful. But also, like, why? Is it because she is just using that to cope with her own mental illness, and like she wasn't able to seek help, you know, when she was young, you know, all these things. So it just is a really slippery slope when it comes to that kind of thing. But also having children, maybe it was not planned, you know, due to the substances, and now you have to deal with that and you can't stand it, you know what I mean? And it's not the kid's fault. but it can suck sometimes and be awful like that. And sometimes the kids will like get smart and kind of do that thing, but it could be a mistake. And now she feels guilt for the rest of her life. I'm sure that an extreme like that maybe doesn't happen often, but like it's in the realm of possibility all the time.
Yeah.
If you're like a child living in a home like that, you know, because someone's going to come and take you away soon, or your parents going to die. You know what I mean? Like whichever one comes first. Oh man.
Oh, sure.
Did she discuss at all about like being in like the system?
She didn't.
Mom died when she was like, what, 8 or something like that. So
that never came up.
Yeah, she probably would have had to have been for a little while or something, or adopted or whatever, or raised by somebody else. So I don't know. But of course, like as the director said, there's like a lot of loose ends that he doesn't tie up on purpose. So it just, you know, you can fill in gaps if you want to. So there's that. How about the entire movie? This is my theory, and I don't know what it says, if it says anything on Wikipedia about what the movie is about, but like Smile just being like a metaphor for mental illness, and just, you know, it finally succumbing to it, because some people have, you know, mental illness and some people have depression, and there are some people that do not want to be saved, and maybe you cannot help them. And then in that instance, they can commit suicide. So it's like that buildup of that fear and anxiety inside you. But in the film, it's like on the surface. So you can actually see that fear and that anxiety build up to the point, and then you are cursed or inhabited by the creature, which is them finally committing suicide. The contagion of it is a little bit different, but of course it also goes to show that everybody is struggling, you know, so that was my thought on that.
No, I think that's a very good read on like a deeper message in this movie, because who hasn't like been going through a rough time and someone just tells you, well, just act happy.
Right. Or like, I need help. And it's like, oh, well, you're fucking crazy and I can't deal with you right now. You know what I mean? Like that, which end of the spectrum? It's both ends of the spectrum. Act happy, it's fine. Or I can't deal with you right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So it's like pretty, that's very cool.
I think that's a really good read in this movie. And I kind of was picking up on that too.
Yeah. And just because she is a therapist, and then we bring a lot of the other therapist in too, and then like we're within the realm of like the people who are coming for help in the most extreme cases, and then also dealing with like suicide. So it's like all these different themes, and they're under this one umbrella. It's hard to talk about, but it's good to have this visual of like, this is how bad it is, and this is what it looks like, and here I put it in the form of a terrifying entity, but this is often what people are feeling. And you just can't know, you know, and people are like, oh, well, I can't see the red flags and all that stuff. And like, you won't unless someone wants to show that to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So anyway, but that's quite deep, but was my read on it a little bit.
Yeah. Like people bring up Robin Williams all the time with how you're not necessarily going to see the signs of depression and suicide in someone because of the public persona they put on.
Right. Yeah. And that's really tough. And at the end of the day, it's wonderful when you can help someone and they can have like a second chance at life, but also like you can try to help someone, but they have to make their own decision. You know, you can only do your own part so much and help them so much. But it takes the other person to do a little bit of the work too, and want that. But I don't want to speak to that too much because I don't know too much about that. I'm no professional. Okay. I'm no professional. And if you're dealing with anything, always seek professional help.
Absolutely.
Do not seek the podcast.
and I think with like the case of Laura, who is the protagonist of the short film and the inciting character for the feature film. She didn't seek help until it was too late for her, essentially.
And that can be very true.
And any trigger can set somebody off and everything like that. So
yeah. So it could just be like one of those things where you ignore it because you have other stuff going on, and it's just, I'm tired, or this and this and that.
And also, like, during that scene when Laura does come in and talks to Rose, she's trying to explain to Rose, well, this is of course fictional, but she's discussing the entity, and she's like, I see this thing and it's talking to me and I'm afraid, and it's telling me that I'm going to die today, and I'm going to kill somebody, and it's telling me this. And then Rose is like, okay, well, sometimes this can happen, but it seems real. And she's like, you're not listening to what I'm saying. I literally just told you I'm going to die, and you're not listening, and you're not helping me. Mm-hmm. And so that is how they feel. They're like on the edge of a cliff.
Yeah.
And if you possibly say the wrong thing, like, oh, well, what you're feeling isn't real, then, you know what I mean? Like, how do you communicate with these people whenever, like, you're worried and you need to make sure that they don't make a mistake, or like you don't make a mistake of saying the wrong thing. And that's such a difficult thing. And that's why, once again, I don't want to speak on it. And I'm sure it takes so much training for therapists or anybody like that. But but
so I think that is an excellent read into this film. And it is an interesting, like, representation of mental illness, if that's what
he intended for. Yeah, if that's what he intended. It could be something else too, because they do talk about, she talks about a curse and also like ghosts, and they mention that as well, and the paranormal, so it could be that as well mixed in. So, and there's room for that too, so that's cool. But so the Laura Hasn't Slept, is that short film take place like after Laura sees her teacher kill himself? Do you think that's what that is?
Excellent question, because I have the summary pulled up right now. The premise follows Laura as she recounts a series of horrific dreams and hallucinations where she's being pursued by a smiling man to her therapist. As she does so, she begins to realize that she isn't where she thinks she is, that she is again experiencing an extrasensory episode, and that the counselor she is confiding in is actually the entity that has been tormenting her. While the ending of the short film seems to indicate the character dies, Laura later appears in Smile, where she seeks the help of Dr. Rose Cotter. So it could theoretically be just like
a hallucination after the fact, after she's seen it, and after she's being tormented by the...
I guess you could see the short film being a literal prequel to the movie.
Yeah.
Of Laura coming in.
Wow, that's pretty
Laura
cool.
Seeking help before.
Wow.
And he did the ending in a way that she could have gotten out, or she could have died had, like, the feature film not been greenlit.
Yeah, this guy's like a horror guy too. I'm looking at his stuff.
I look forward to seeing what he pulls out next.
Yeah, me too. I think this is actually really cool. And look, like, we had so much to talk about, so that's actually really excellent as well. And it's not like we did watch an elevated horror movie where it's like we really had to analyze hardcore to try to understand.
We're not trying to analyze why Ari Aster is so into head trauma.
Yeah, we just watched it, enjoyed it, and then simmered on it a little bit, and then came up with
Ari Aster, Beau is Afraid is coming out later this month.
What is that about? I saw that Joaquin Phoenix is in it. I didn't realize that's Ari Aster.
I don't really know what it's about. The trailer is very vague. It's about Beau and he's afraid.
I saw that he's like running a lot, but I was like, wait, what is happening? But I didn't watch the trailer all the way through because I'm usually at work when I'm like scrolling. If I like see it, I'm just like, I see the movie.
That's coming out.
I
sound sarcastic, but I do like Ari Aster. I think he's a little pretentious, but when he talks about the horror genre, he's one of those like, well, I don't really view it as horror. I view it as more of a family movie with horror elements. And it's like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, shut the fuck up, dude. It's scary. No, the whole family cannot watch it yet.
But anyway, Parker Finn, I look forward to seeing what he does.
Yeah, definitely. And also, of course, Ari Aster. Yeah, if you love horror, absolutely watch anything you want. We're not like saying do or don't do this or do that. I've seen Ari Aster movies too. It doesn't mean I have to like him, but like some of his movies are cool, but like sometimes I don't like it, but that's okay.
I love Midsommar. I
know you love it. I know, and you love Hereditary too, right?
I liked Hereditary. I love Midsommar though, just because I like pretty florals and then
You
horrible
do.
graphic violence.
That's the only thing you like about that, I bet, is that because it's got the pastel-y palette that you love.
I think the director's cut is better than the theatrical cut.
Ooh, okay. Well, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, it establishes more like cultiness within the cult. I don't know. It's like one of those movies where it's elevated horror, but like the messaging is so obvious.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good time, and
yeah.
but, I think Ari Aster is a little full of himself.
Yeah, I would have to. Now I don't want to, but I would have to watch, like, I don't do this enough where I don't watch horror directors discussing like their films or the genre or things like that. I don't really do that. I don't have a lot of time to watch YouTube a lot, but I should do a little bit of that as a horror fan.
Like Hereditary and Midsommar are great, but Ari Aster tries to put himself above other horror directors, and I think that's why I can't enjoy the movies as much as I want to, is just knowing that he does look down on the genre, or I get the vibe that he looks down on the genre, and that's why he's trying to elevate it. Yeah. But at the end of the day, Midsommar is just kind of another Wicker Man retelling, which I love Wicker Man.
Yeah. Okay, well, that explains a little bit of that too. So that, it looks like Ari Aster is 36. Wow.
He's a youngin'.
He's very young to be so famous with his like films in the horror community, especially. I feel like horror directors, there's only like a handful that I know by name, you know what I mean? So good for him, but also I can't abide by trying to be better than everybody, you know what I mean? Like, that's not cool. We're a community for a reason, so you can't like be like, oh well, this is my sub community. Oh,
it looks like Beau is Afraid might be a remake of Ari Aster's short film.
Beau 2011. I saw that too, or like continuation.
I do think for the podcast, we should wrap this up though. For the podcast, we should look at because it's on YouTube and it's only 30 minutes long, we should watch The Strange Thing About the Johnsons, because a lot of people say it's one of the most disturbing movies they've watched.
Oh, and it's on YouTube. Okay. Yeah. Not YouTube TV, right? Just regular.
Yeah, just regular YouTube.
Okay.
So I do think that's something we should watch, but
we could do that next one if you want, just to do it, since we're talking about it.
Since Beau is Afraid is coming out, we can.
Do you want to do that as a mini-sode, or do you think we might have too much to say and do like a full episode?
We could try and do it as a mini-sode. Not that I am looking for an excuse to get out of watching the originals.
I haven't watched it lately. I'm sorry. I'm gonna get back to it. I swear. Like,
I had that realization too when I was about to start Smile. It's like, oh shit, I need to really catch up on.
Me too. I was like,
watching.
Oh no, like because I got on the TV and I was like, oh shit. I gotta do it.
But next couple of episodes we will have a lot to talk about, because I am seeing, what am I seeing? I'm seeing Renfield on Saturday.
Ooh, excellent.
Which is Nick Cage as Dracula.
That's very cool.
It's a bloody, gory horror comedy, and I think it'll be fantastic. And then I'm seeing Evil Dead Rise on the 20th.
Let me know how that is. I'm interested in seeing that myself. So
my biggest concern with it is they're putting all the scary shit in the trailer, so the movie itself is not going to be scary.
You know what? I think we talked about that exact thing before. So I hope that you're wrong.
I hope I'm petrified and I regret seeing it by myself.
Yeah, I hope it's super scary, and like the trailer does no justice to the scary things, and it's much scarier, but we'll see. All right, cool. But anyway, we love Smile. Go watch it on base Amazon, and let's wrap this shit up, guys. Cool. All right. Real Horror Show was created by Sam Odie and Stormy Skies and is directed by Sam Odie. Rad. During this movie, we learned, what do we really learn?
If you're feeling sad, talk to someone, but not someone who sucks.
Right. Yeah. And also like, if your fiance is acting like such a jerk, then he's such a jerk. Man, that sucks. Also, you should work in a hospital that grants you these weeks of paid leave if you're like feeling like not your best, that's awesome. Anyway, that would be a paradise. So, like what you hear, you can find Real Horror Show on Spotify, TuneIn, Google Play Store, Stitcher, iTunes, and Pandora. Really, really like what you hear? Follow us on Twitter at Horror Show Pod, or search for Real Horror Show on Twitter. Follow us on Facebook at Real Horror Show. Like our page and share our stuff. Also, follow us on Instagram. We also have a TikTok, don't we? Follow us on that.
We do have a TikTok.
Yes, very cool. And you know what? If you can't find us, just put us in the search bar. You understand how social media works. If you have social media, I hope you'll be able to find us that way. Our like icon picture is the same through all mediums. So anyway, like our page and share our stuff. We have a website as well that all of our written reviews and podcasts can be found, realhorrorshow.com. Rad. Want to interact with us? Want to make sure we're real humans, not space vampires? Comment on our website, or better yet, email us at realhorrorshowpodcast@gmail.com. It might be cool for people to email in and maybe like ask us some questions or give us movie requests. That would be kind of fun. So yeah, wouldn't that be cool? Anyway, want to argue with us about something, or think you really have a really great movie or a movie review that you're dying to share with two random strangers on the internet? Well, submissions are open and always open for movie reviews. We might talk about this in the future, but check out the submit page on our website and follow the rubric before sending us anything. If it's not done according to the rubric, it will be disregarded. Sorry, not sorry. I don't think anyone has ever sent us a movie review, so you might not have that anymore, but it's okay. All right. We love horror, and if you're listening, you do too. Please help us keep our project going by visiting our support page on our website, where you can make a one-time donation via PayPal. We also have an Amazon wish list if you feel like buying us something tangible will help convey your love more than a monetary donation would. Also, you can find the Buy Us a Coffee button on our website. It's a button you can click that will pay us the amount you would need to buy a coffee. A little bit goes a long way. Sometimes we can't help out artists monetarily, and that's okay. By simply liking, sharing, retweeting, and even giving us an awesome review will help us out tremendously. And Sam discussed what movie she was going to be seeing. Is there any other pertinent news to discuss, Sam?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. We just had our big Easter break, but we're back. And our outro song is called Creepy Doll by Jonathan Colton. And thank you, fuck off, and have a swell evening. And this is Real Horror Show signing off. Bye. Bye-bye.
I love the creepy doll that always follows